Well, hi, Jim. I'm back with 6 books in isolation, and it's a DNF. I quit. Now, I'm so behind on the books I have to review. I've got a stack of them. It's just, I've got the time at the moment, not the inclination to do them. It's just the worst. Normally, when I'm doing a book reviews, I wait till like my days off, which you notice when my topics don't change. Because normally, my job, I'm a shift worker by my normal life, and it's difficult being so isolated. Hi, but it's getting there. So the date is the 20th of June 2020. We are officially halfway through the year. Please don't get better. Please. So, the DNF. Did you not finish? I will throw you to the wind. Library copy, by the way. The Unwelcomed Child by Virginia Andrews. Well, not the Virginia Andrews, because Virginia Andrews passed away many years ago. So, but here you go. This is the blurb of The Unwelcomed Child by Virginia Andrews. My mother had looked into the face of evil. So many times she knew what it was. It was me. I was born without a soul. Ellie Edwards grew up believing that because of her mother's sinful ways, she was born without a soul. That's why she was abandoned to the care of grandmother Myra and grandfather Prescott, who tried to ensure that her evil would not infect them by raising her in a virtual prison. Because Ellie's days are occupied with homeschooling, strict religious study, and vigorous housekeeping in the upstate New York home, she knows practically nothing of the outside world. But when she makes a secret forbidden connection with her visitors at a nearby lake, a handsome boy and his precocious twin sister, Ellie's world will shatter as her past meets her present. While learning about her truth, about her mother, sent her plummeting to hell, maybe some discoveries are forbidden for a reason. Oh God! Now, unlike a lot of Virginia Andrews books, which are set in like early times, like 1950s, 60s onwards, okay, which I'm not kind of justify what happens in these books, and also quite graphic, but it's set at earlier time periods, so you kind of accept the world as present. This is set now. This is set right now. This is basically a like 1950s Virginia Andrews character set in the modern day. So she talks about the internet, and which she's never ever gone on, and phones which she's never owned, and TV that she's not allowed to watch. Yeah, and she is honestly this is the way it starts. Okay, so wait, this is a bit right. I can't remember the actual moment when my light blue infant eyes were able to focus and my developing nervous system was able to interpret shapes and colours. No one could remember that, but I'm confident that the first face I really saw was the face of infant Jesus. For my first few years in the back room of the first floor, the room that was hastily set up as my nursery and stayed my room, this framed print of the infant Jesus was all that was on the wall. I faced daily. I woke up with it and fell asleep with it. It's still there today along with other biblical plaques and prints. So basically, her grandparents had given her an actual bedroom with a window and light. Have kept her in a room. Just a room. Like, nothing. So, yeah, it's been compared to Flowers in the Attic, if you wish. But, yeah, so basically, from her earliest age, okay, she's been under scrutiny. She's been in Bible study. Elle's just, because she's not got a soul. She was the face of evil. And basically she's running the house and doing stuff which no child should really be doing. Like from the age of 6, like she's washing and ironing. It's ridiculous. Here we go. Everything I did, no matter how small, was watched, studied and judged. From what I clearly understood, the scrutinizer of my every breath, every move and every sound began to cradle, as if something a baby did, the way she looked at them, the way she cried or even burped, could be interpreted as either something good or something that smelled of evil. Okay, baby's burp is evil. Instead of common baby toys, such as animals that made sounds, or toys that made music, or toys I could take apart and put together, I was given crucifixes and crosses to touch and study. One had the figure of Jesus with the crown of thorns attached. I would trace the body of Jesus with my tiny fingers, intrigued and even, when I was old and had more control of my arms and hands, tried to take it off the cross, which frightened my grandmother. From what she would tell me later, there was one of these clear indicators that I was polluted in a way a lake or pond could be polluted, and it was her and my grandfather's task to do what they could to cleanse my soul, and it was her way of explaining what everything harsh they did to me was necessary. Yes, because the thing is, grandmother Myra, she does the amount of the "you're not good enough, Ellie. You're basically you need to hide what you are." Basically, had a freak out about. I think started her period, basically grown up and developing, kept her sheltered, again, but made her study all day and made her think that she was wrong because the circumstance of her birth and that her mother abandoned her. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yes. Right, and this is so dehumanising how they treat her. Right, right. It's a bit here. I was shocked to learn that I was born secretly, not given a name immediately. Sometimes I think that they could kept me anonymous forever, but they couldn't keep on denying my existence. Finally, they decided to name me Ellie because it meant God's promise and that there was some hope. I was unsure they thought, why bother? I used to wonder if my grandmother was capable back then of drowning me the way I've seen her drown baby mice. I was told that before they named me, they simply called me the child, referred to me as it. It's not sleeping, it's not eating, it's crying too much. Yeah. Oh yeah. So, but that's why I thought up to the earliest point, I generally thought this was set in an earlier time period. This bit here. I'd never had a television or radio in my room. I'd never been to a movie. And if I had some music CD, I'd never on which to play it, and I was never given a computer or any of the modern day devices I saw advertised, such as an iPod. They'd known this technology either. My grandmother said the internet was Satan's new playground. The little music I knew came bits and pieces from the short television viewing I was permitted. I was outside and heard a car go by with the windows open and music spilling out. You know, has anyone seen The Water Boy? You know how Mama keeps saying, this is the devil, school's the devil. If this was a comedy, that'd be this woman. Foosball's not foosball's the devil. That was my bad Kathy Bates impersonation. This book is just so, and the thing is that Ellie's at the age where obviously she's getting older, she's a teenager, she meets Mason and Claudine at the lake near the house, okay? And the thing is, everything is, her life goes back to the Bible. And obviously this is basically Ellie looking back on her life, okay? You know, she is talking about everything in the past tense. But the dialogue is just so serious, okay? Right. No, I'll just cut this down. This was when Ellie gets does her period. Um, showed me to care for myself in silence and never complain about the cramps or to anyone but her. Then she went into a long explanation of why women were punished for this biological event, tracing the blame back to Eve in the Garden of Eden. Yeah, and it's just so serious. And then okay, she's starting to get into art because her mother was into art. Okay, there's nothing really about art or artists. Okay, but something she could study. Okay, and so she goes into the lake. There's a lake near her house, but she's never really allowed to go to. A massive, beautiful lake. And she meets Claudine and Mason, who she briefed a glimpse earlier at a dinner. They took her grandparents took her out for dinner for her birthday. And even then, okay, they scrutinised her meal, and she had to like chicken and light foods because, of course, anything rich is sinful. Okay. Yeah, and basically, Mason is this part that I quit. Okay. Mason basically really kind of comes on to her, kind of touches her about permission. She sees them naked first of all, which is the obviously, you know, it's the sexual awakenings moment, and it's just so convoluted. The entire gist of the plot is Ellie wants to go to school, and her grandparents are going to send her to school. Basically, she can't do anything once she can get to school, and virtually everything other page talks about. I'm going to start school. I'm going to start high school. Okay, so I really thought this book was so ridiculous that I quit. It's taking forever to get long. It's absolutely ridiculous. Ellie meets Claudine and Mason. And Mum comes back into the picture briefly. Has no idea what Ellie's name is. Okay, which is when I quit because I just couldn't deal. Okay, and Ellie just obviously no one's basically like, informed her, even when she's describing her life. This is an abusive situation, and it is abusive. Okay, when she's unloading her past to Claudine and Mason, okay, or even her own mother, okay, about, well, from the age of like 6, I was washing and ironing clothes and burning myself in the process and it wasn't good enough. No one ever turns around, okay, and says, this sounds really, really abusive, we should basically inform the authorities. And I just had to quit. Just the language and the dialogue, and the fact that it was getting nowhere fast. Goes on to flashback, this happened in the past, this is sinful, I'm sinful. I quit. The Unwelcomed Child by Virginia Andrews was a terrible terrible book. Absolutely terrible. Okay? Right. And I quit it. A DNF for Virginia Andrews. Well, the ghostwriter anyway. I'm signing off. Bye now, everyone. Take care. Stay safe. Bye now.